Oh, let me kill the music, man. Let me kill the music. You got to kill the music. Here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Thursday afternoon, late evening emergency live stream to let you guys know that Donovan Mitchell has been traded. But he hasn't been traded to the New York Knicks. He's been traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Knicks lose once again. Backdoored. Never the bride, always the bridesmaid. Knicks catch another L. Donovan Mitchell traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers for 3 first-round picks, 2 pick swaps, Lowry marketing, Ochai Agbaji, the recent first-round pick, and Colin Sexton. Knicks Nation, I need to hear from you guys tonight. This is an emergency live stream. Call us up on the Discord. 657-383-1509 is the number to call as well if you want to get in on the switchboard. Knicks lose again. What happened? All this time, all the hype, all the rumors, all the shows. It was a one-team race. Leon was in control. But in the end, Danny Ainge did what Danny Ainge does. And he got a better deal. We were told that Cleveland had backed out of this thing. We were told Cleveland removed themselves from consideration. It is the Knicks' trade to lose. Well, the Knicks did lose that trade today because Cleveland came in through the back door, through the cover of the night, and nabbed the Spida. What happened? 3 unprotected first-round picks, 2025, 27, 29, and swaps in 26 and 28. Earlier this week, it was said that RJ was part of several trade proposals, ultimately pulled from those proposals, and signs his extension with the Knicks. Now, people were wavering. Was RJ truly in the deal? Was he not in the deal? Were the Knicks really intending to trade him? Did Utah really want him? I believe they did. And I believe once they pulled RJ off the table in whatever package that Utah was looking for, it opened the door for other teams to come in. Al, me and you talked about this that night. Mm-hmm. It gave other teams the opportunity to jump in. The Knicks were coming back to the pack. So now here it is, Cleveland, who's in a better position than the Knicks in terms of being able to contend and try to win something now. Kobe Altman was able to push his chips to the table because they already have an established core of Garland, Mobley. They got the Twin Towers in there. Kobe Altman pushed his chips to the table, said, here's the 3, and I'm giving you better players than what the Knicks can give you right now. You got Sexton, who ended up signing and trading to Utah, marketing, and the first-round pick, Agbaji. Once Leon wasn't able to go to the 3 picks, that was it. Cleveland came in with a better deal. So we're going to talk about where do we go from here. Because I see a lot of Knicks fans say, we're fine. If you want to tell yourself that, okay, fine. If that's how you want to cope, go ahead and cope. Because to me, the Knicks missed out on an opportunity here. They missed out on an opportunity here. That's just my thing. Leon didn't want to pull it. I understand it. Cleveland was in a better position to make this gamble and that the Knicks weren't prepared to make. But this is why he came here. This is what they built. This is why they were accruing all these draft picks to make a move. This is why you punted on your first round pick this past draft, the number 11 pick. And you come up empty. JD, give me some thoughts.
Oh man, this is so, just just happened moments ago that I'm still trying to gather my thoughts on how I really feel about this, because I think this just means a lot for this franchise, and there's still going to be a lot of questions that need to be answered about this team moving forward now. Um, but when I look at this, in hindsight, this is why, I mean, I guess we can say Danny Ainge won in the
Yeah.
sense that he, dragged this out. And remember, when I was on the show, I talked about, you know, this is what happens. You drag this out and you just hope that a team just comes out of nowhere. Um, you know, when you drag negotiations out, other franchises are they're talking about, should we make a move? When something happens right away, you may not have the same evaluation as when you have more time to think about it. And I think the Cavs were back and forth on this, because there are going to be question marks with that backcourt. But I think when it got to this point, and the report of RJ and the picks, they made the decision to let's go for it. And I think what's surprising as well is everybody talked about a 3-team deal being what's needed, and yet, and mind you, with the Knicks, who, according to everyone, had the more assets to make the deal, yet the Knicks didn't make the deal, and Danny Ainge completes a deal with the Cavs in a 2-team trade. So I thought that was also surprising. And at the end of the day, CP, I think this puts pressure on the front office. It does. I understand that we're going to continue to build, but now, you put a lot of faith into these young players. You didn't want to give up Grimes. Obviously, you gave the extension to RJ. You didn't want to go 3 unprotected. So there's different layers. You didn't want to go 3 unprotected. There's a few players that I mean, based on reports, you did not want to give up. I mean, RJ definitely was one, because you gave him the extension. So I think now there's pressure on this young roster to perform. So, we'll see what the next steps are for this team, because even with the roster presently constructed, you still have maybe a move or two to do, I would think. And training camp is just a month away.
No question about it. Al, before we get to you, let me launch the phones. I forgot to launch the phone. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Give me 2 seconds real quick. Just hang tight with us. Knicks Fan TV Live, presented by Manscaped. Donovan Mitchell traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let us know your thoughts, man. 657-383-1509 is the number to call, or you can hit us up on the Knicks Fan TV Discord. How we feeling today? Leave an emoji in the chat. How you feeling today about this trade? Knicks came up short, man. I don't see how we could look at it any other way. Yes, the price was rich. Obviously, I wasn't trying to give up RJ. I wasn't trying to give up 4 picks. I was hoping to get the Lakers involved in a 3-team deal. But I wanted Donovan Mitchell on the Knicks, man. No question about it. Al, give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm with the sentiment that I wanted Donovan Mitchell on the Knicks too. But when I look at the end of the end result, right, what the Cleveland Cavaliers gave up to get Donovan Mitchell,
Yeah.
this says something to me. This is what it is. RJ Barrett, as we already discussed, yes, he was part of the deal, because if you look at Colin Sexton, I would say that would be the comp as saying they want a young player that they can look at, that they can build around. Okay, for Colin Sexton, they got him on a great deal, 4 years, $74 million deal. Good for Utah for being able to do that. But when you look at Lauri Markkanen, Agbaji, the 3 fully unprotected picks. Yeah. Then you talk about 2 pick swaps to me, and you could even, because as we calculated, like 5 picks that Utah gave out, or Utah got from Minnesota in the Rudy Gobert deal. I look at the Cavs getting 4 first-round picks, because you got Agbaji from this year's deal, first-round pick for the Cavs. Then you look at the other 3 picks that they got in this deal, right? 3 unprotected. That's a lot, man. That's a steep asking price. Yeah. That's a very steep asking price. Were the Knicks comfortable in doing that? No, we already heard it was 2 unprotected picks, as been reported by Jake Fisher, as from other beat reporters as well. I thought the Knicks should have gone in there, given up at least 3 unprotected picks. That, me personally, that's where I've been comfortable with.
Yeah.
But outside of giving up, when you have to say now that the Knicks would have to give up 3 unprotected picks, RJ Barrett, Quentin Grimes, or Obi Toppin, and one of the other young guys, and Evan Fournier to go match the salary. That's a lot, man. I'm not
Yeah.
looking necessarily at Evan Fournier, but the kids that you got to give up plus the future.
It's a
This
lot.
team is still rebuilding. Where are you going with Donovan Mitchell if you make that deal? Okay. If you give up RJ Barrett, sure, you got Brunson, you got Mitchell, you have Randall, you have Mitch, right? Where are you going outside of that? Because now you just gave up some depth. Okay. You gave up a top draft pick, a guy that you would have to rely on. If you have Obi, if you didn't give him up, okay, you got Quick off the bench with Rose. To me, that's still like you're not going far in the East. We talked about that team being potentially max then. To me, probably be like a 6, like at their ceiling, being a 6-seeded team.
Yeah.
Right. That's how I look at it. So, and Donovan Mitchell was never going to be the last piece to this team. You need the other assets to bring somebody else in. So for this, if that's really what this deal is, Danny Ainge got what he wanted. He pulled one over on Cleveland, but did he actually pull one over on Cleveland? When I look at that, I take that back because Cleveland now is a legitimate contender in the East. We're talking about top 6 team. This team was ready to go. We saw the improvement they made last season, adding Donovan Mitchell with Darius Garland. You know, you talked about it off air, the twin towers that you got over there. That's a legitimate team. Kevin Love coming off the bench. We're talking about a top 16. Is it a championship winning team? No, I think they need something else to go with it, but that's still a top competitor. I just look at it from the Knicks standpoint, though, saying, okay, it was a little too steep. But to JD's point, it now goes back to Leon Rose. It's in his court. You're brought in here to go.
All I'm saying, bro.
You're brought in here to get somebody. Are you comfortable with the kids? Yeah, for now. I think there's still other roster moves you got to do going to the season because it's still you got to consolidate some assets, moving along to get other kids to develop. There's still a lot of questions moving forward, but for the deal itself, I wanted Mitchell too, but not for that steep asking price.
That's my point, bro. The deal was steep. I wouldn't have made it. I would have put in the 3 first, but clearly the players that Cleveland put in, you want to add in the 2 pick swaps, it was a better deal, and they could afford to make it. The Knicks couldn't necessarily afford to make that deal. But that doesn't mean I'm not disappointed to not get a 3-time All-Star. I think some of these fans are quite delusional. Quite delusional. The will be fines, and we move forward. This team won 37 games last year with Julius Randle as the engine. All you OB fans in the chat, you're going to call back in when his minutes get blocked again and then blame the team. What's going on? What's going on? We're losing. That's all I'm saying, bro. We had an opportunity to get a talent in here. The price was steep. But let's not act like this guy's chopped liver. We've had nothing.
You would have done the RJ Grimes?
No, absolutely not.
But then that's why
it wasn't going to happen.
No way.
It wasn't going to happen.
There was no way I was putting RJ in that deal.
RJ is Sexton because the thinking was, well, they're not willing to spend, but they actually took on more salary because I think Lauri Markkanen has like 3 years and just short of 52 million. Fournier was just 2 years, right? So you took on more salary there, and then Sexton they gave him an extension, so they took on more salary there, and then Agbaji was a lottery pick. You can substitute him for Grimes, and then they got the 3 picks. So basically, maybe when Leon made that deadline, that was the deal. That was it right there. Like, this is what we're gonna do. This is the deal with two picks, and that's it. And but when I say that there's pressure on the front office, the way that I'm evaluating is there's pressure on Leon to now play the young kids. Because you cannot now, you cannot come at me and tell me Fournier started. I don't want to hear that. You cannot come at me and now play some veterans or acquire another veteran. You didn't make this move because you clearly had an evaluation on what value is. You value some of the young players and you played hardball. So now let's develop these young kids. Let's play them. Let's find a path for Obi. Let's find a path for Grimes. Let's get Cam some minutes. Like, you cannot now try to compete with the Cavs and compete with the Miami Heat for media. Like, we can't now fall into a trap and say, well, let's play some of these veterans because we have to win 45 wins now because we didn't get Mitchell. No, you didn't make this move. All right. So now let's go with the plan and let's go all in. I don't want, this whole thing. Well, let's wait another year, and then next year we'll attach additional second round picks to get rid of Fournier, and next year we'll attach additional first round picks to get rid of Julius. I want to see the plan now. Let's play these young kids now, and let's see what you got, because you didn't make the move. So what's next? And that's what I'm looking forward to from the front office, from this coaching staff, and from this organization this season.
So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Let's load up some calls here. I'm going to get my guy Zay from Maryland in here on the Discord. Zay, what's going on, man? Unmute your mic. Zay from Maryland. Zay, you on the line.
Yeah, what's up, guys? What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, how you feeling?
Doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. Let me just say this, right? I totally agree with you guys. Alex made great points, right? Great points. And at the end of the day, what I see happen is the turning point for us was when the deal got announced as far as what the Knicks offered, as far as the picks and stuff like that. Because what that does now is that tells all the teams around, like, oh, that's the ballpark of where the Knicks are trying to spend.
Brought him back to the pack.
Exactly. So then now all the other teams are like, well, we can do that deal. Let's add something to that deal to juice it up, and we possibly could win this trade. So that was a turning point. It was a lot of back and forth between Utah and the Knicks, posturing with the media and things like that. At the end of the day, the price for Donovan Mitchell, would it have been worth it? Cleveland's in a better position to where now they spent that money. They get Donovan Mitchell. They're going to be a lot better than if we would have gotten Donovan Mitchell, because that would have costed us. The biggest thing that we've been good at within the past few years is the depth. That's our biggest strength, is the depth. And we would have had to kick out a lot of players, a lot of picks to try to sit there and now just run around with Donovan Mitchell. I definitely understand he should be a Knick. At the end of the day, he should be a Knick. But cost for the Knicks is different than the cost for Cleveland.
Right.
So we got to also keep that in mind, is that, a lot of times too, people in the Knicks, they're looking to fleece us. We're never going to win any deal just off of just trying to be, penny pinching. But that's where it comes back to the office. You got to make great points in regards to it's on the office now. These young players got to step up. They don't step up in the next year, this next coming season, everybody's going to start looking like, well, you guys failed. You guys flopped this deal. So the biggest part is let's just hold out and be on reserve, but keep an eye out for this upcoming season, because a lot of guys got to step up, and Tibbs got to play these young guys and see what we have.
Yeah.
Thanks for the time.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I mean, look, guys are going to play. Guys are going to play. You have Fournier, you have Rose as your elder statesman on this team. We already said the rotation is going to be RJ. It's going to be Brunson, RJ. Fournier, in my opinion, is still going to be starting. You're going to have Julius. You're going to have Mitch. Off the bench, you're going to have IQ, Rose. You're going to have Grimes, Obi, and Hartenstein. That's your rotation. That's your rotation right there. Unless some of these guys get moved. That is the Knicks roster and rotation, in my opinion, come training camp and the opener. So, I mean, you guys want the young guys playing. They're going to play. We all know the Julius situation, Julius Obi dynamic. You know how that's going to look. Maybe Grimes or Cam are closing. Maybe they start. Who knows? But they're going to play. They're definitely going to play. So let's see what happens. Again, I'm with everybody. The price was too steep. But what next? As JD said, Leon is still on the clock. This is what you came here for. There is the risk of being in no man's land. This team is not OKC building with young players. This team is not the Rockets or Orlando building with young players. They have talent, but they're not going to be that bad, but they're not going to be that great either. It's a risk.
Look, the one thing I'll say that irritates me, because I think the Knicks could have been in this deal, and this is where I go back to that trade that happened draft night, right? Yeah. Where we got all those highly protected picks. We helped Detroit get the center that they wanted. We facilitate all that. We got draft capital. Sure, you can use that draft capital somewhere down the line. If we had lesser protections on those picks, I think a deal could have gotten done. The fact that the Knicks had to go into their own war chest, their own draft picks, that was the contention. I understand that. You want to be able to control your own future. You don't control your own future when you have highly protected picks from the Pistons, who are going to be bad, the Wizards, who are going to be bad. All right. Milwaukee, you're getting a late pick anyway. How much can that help you? Yes, we got Grimes, we got Quickly during those rounds, but are you going to be getting the impactful players that you can get at the top of the draft? If you get lucky, but not really. 9 out of 10 times you're getting a solid role player, not that game-changing player that you need on a roster. This is where I go back to the Knicks on draft night saying you could have pushed for more. You're helping a team get the center that they wanted. Sure, you're trying to go get Jaden Ivey, but if at the end of the day you're getting somebody that they wanted, you make them look like geniuses on draft night where they got Ivey and Duren. All right? It's not even about Duren's talent, how he could have fit on the Knicks at that point. It's you legitimately help somebody get another player they wanted in that draft to help their rebuild. Why didn't you get more? Why didn't you get lesser protections on those picks? That's where it could help today to get Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah. The chat is voted Spida to Cleveland. How are you feeling? 71% said they are chilling. 29% say they are upset. All right, so we got some optimism in the chat today. Okay, let's run through some super chats. Shout out to the Jared DX320 says, how long do you think before we start hearing SGA to the Knicks rumors? Hey, maybe they look that way. Maybe they look that way, fellas. Shout out to Heedy, says $5 super chat, says in 324 games, Mitchell is averaging 6 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist in the fourth quarter on 42%. Field goal percentage 30 from 3. Take a breather, folks. We're good. Okay, all right. Get well, all right. Mike Rambo says $10 super chat, says put me on the line. This is a W. All right, Mike. Eric Nephron says CP, you first guessed it the minute RJ deal was announced. As Solace, we've seen the ceiling with Spida as your best player. The Knicks want more. Shahid, Canadian Super Chat, $20 Super Chat says, we extended RJ Barrett. We have a true point guard. I'm happy Leon didn't sell the farm for Spida. Other opportunities will present themselves. We retained all our picks. Looking at what the Cavs paid, we dodged the bullet in hindsight. All right, let's go back to the Discord. Stubby Stan on the Discord. Unmute your mic. Interesting name. Stubby Stan on the Discord. All right, going once. All right, Stubby Stan's up out of there. Okay, let's go to the phones. 917-330. What's your name? Where you calling in from?
How you doing, CP? This is Tucson from Brooklyn. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, loud and clear, bro. How you feeling? We got to go rapid fire because we got a lot of calls. So rapid fire on your points.
Oh, absolutely. No problem, boss. So I guess what I wanted to get to is when it comes to Donovan Mitchell, man, at the end of the day, something I heard you say that made me think about, honestly, the sports and the Knicks in a completely different light is we're trying to win the championship here. Donovan Mitchell, at the end of the day, even if we would have succeeded in that trade, one, I'm glad that he went to Cleveland because it allows us to take a look at Cleveland and what two 6-foot point guards will actually look like defensively, although they have Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley there. But two, I'm also looking at it like Donovan Mitchell wasn't going to win us a ring, man. At the end of the day, we still would have had to build on top of that. And I feel like at the end of the day, we would have gave up some assets for us to still not really be in title contention. So I appreciate that we're going to be able to look at it from a standpoint of really building a contender. And maybe somebody else shakes loose that's going to be more of a threat and more of a valuable piece than a Donovan Mitchell. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. Appreciate the call. You know, one of the things also with this deal was that the years that Cleveland gave up these picks, they gave up 27, 25, 27, 29. You know, so they went into the future a little bit. And I think for the Knicks, I think they were trying to avoid that. Because obviously you bring in Donovan Mitchell here, you're trying to get another guy using those future picks to bring in here to build with. I think that was another thing that gave the Cavs kind of an edge, is the timing of those first-round picks, plus the swaps in 26 and 29.
So those three are the unprotected.
The unprotected.
You know, this experiment doesn't work. You know, that's what Ainge is probably looking at.
Just banking on that. Absolutely.
Because you would think the next at least 2 years, they're going to be really, really good.
Right.
But, you know what happens? You bring a superstar over and you spend 2-3 years, that third year in that experiment, if you're not really getting over that that hurdle,
Yeah.
then that's when organizations start to think about retooling or rebuilding or making certain moves. And then all it takes is one more bad move, and those picks are now much more valuable. So that's
Injury.
probably what Leon was thinking, because remember, even if Donovan were to be on this team, there was a lot of other questions that were still present.
Yeah.
One being Julius Randle. So, like we talked about, even Charlie Ward, former Knick, talked about the potential fit. And, now you have less assets to clear up more question marks or other question marks on the roster to maximize Donovan Mitchell on this team. What would happen if you give up unprotected picks so far into the future? You're not able to clear up those question marks, and now you're stuck.
Yeah.
So,
Certainly a gamble.
Let's see how it works out.
I'm wondering, as this season goes through, depending on which Julius Randle we see, do they use some of these picks now, attach it to a potential trade? You know what I'm saying? Do they use some of these, maybe these 2023 protecteds, and try to attach to a Randle trade potentially? You free up a spot for Obi and go that route.
You got to do something, CP, right, Alex? Like, don't you look at now and say, okay, this is over. Finally, it's over. Now you valued some of these guys. I mean, one of the underrated parts about this is Leon is showing faith in IQ, in Grimes, in your nucleus of young players. There's no way I can see a situation where now you go into the season and we're still asking questions after game 5 about why Obi is playing 17 minutes and Grimes is maybe not starting. Like, I think now you have to move towards that and let these kids be whatever they're going to turn out to be. So I think there's still work to be done in this off season. And, we'll see what Leon does. We'll see what Leon, maneuvers next.
For sure, JD. I mean, you said it. Like, you're not trading all these kids, and you saw the limit that they had. It was like, okay, RJ, Fournier, couple picks. You saw it was Obi, Fournier, couple picks, right? There was it didn't seem like there was any wiggle room to give up more than one of the young guys, right?
Yeah.
And for RJ, which is, I'd say, the lead pack, the biggest guy that we got out of all the young assets that we have on the Knicks, they were like, this is the limit. And we've heard through the reports, in offering RJ, you thought that they could lower the amount of unprotected picks they could add into the deal. But with keeping all these guys, this front office has to, one, believe in their development process, their drafting, and just that they're going to have some other moves coming down the pipeline. Maybe moving Evan Fournier, still you got the Lakers who are out there that need to add shooting. Maybe they knock on the door saying, hey, what does it cost to get Evan Fournier for Julius Randle? CPU say maybe they're going to add an asset to move him off. Let's see how the season starts out.
Yeah.
A lot of talk has been like, Randle needs a point guard to get him off ball, put him in position to succeed where he doesn't have to be that primary playmaker. I think even JD mentioned how Elfrid Payton, even just doing the simple, like, bringing up the ball, right? Just to help Randle in that aspect. Well, you got Brunson who can do more than just bring up the ball. So let's see if you can get Randle back into some mojo, see if he can increase his trade value, move off of him, because if you have Obi top in there, that's still a question mark too that we got to figure out. Obi and Randle, we know is not going to coexist. We just know how Tibbs works. So it's one or the other at this point. Hopefully it's Obi, because you want to see that the youth, be able to come up and just grow together as a unit. All right. Especially after what Randle did last season, thumbs down, everything, all that with his bad attitude. Maybe that's the next move for the Knicks front office right now. We'll see.
Shout out to Young Kobe, $20 super chat says Cleveland now has a 2-year window to win a chip with a player that's not re-signing and not an attractive destination for free agents. How is this a loss for the Knicks? They wanted RJ, and RJ is our guy. The end. All right, so Kobe has faith in our youngsters. Shout out to Young Kobe. Okay, let me load up some more on the Discord and get some more people on the phone. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. KnicksFanTV live on a Thursday. Donovan Mitchell traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. We are taking caller reactions. Let us know how you guys are feeling about it today. If you guys are new in the chat, leave us a hashtag new. We'll shout you guys out. And let's get back to the phones. Area code 631-416. What's your name? Where you tapping in from?
Hey, what's up, CP? It's Dan from Shirley, New York.
Dan, how you feeling, bro?
What's up, man? Yeah, I'm trying to talk myself off the ledge, man. I mean, here's my frustration with this front office. They want to preach to us that they value picks. They don't want to trade unprotected. We just wasted a first-round pick trading for Cam Reddish. The guy's requesting a trade out of town now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So don't tell me that you value picks, and then you're wasting them because there's no line of communication, it seems like, between the front office and Thibs on when you make that move. Then you trade out of a lottery pick to get these heavily protected picks that you're telling the fans that, oh, we can maybe use later on for a pick when for a star when he requests a trade, or they want to get rid of a star. That was our opportunity. We blew it. Leon blew it, man. That simple as that. Leon blew it. He had the pieces in the war chest, and then you want to say that first pick that we traded for Reddish wasn't worth anything. They attached that first round pick as one of the 3 picks with DeJounte Murray.
DeJounte Murray, yeah.
So don't tell me that it wasn't valuable. It's crazy, man. I mean, I'm trying to stay calm. It's frustrating as a Knicks fan. All I could say is Randall better not be on this team opening night, because if he's blocking Obi's minutes again, it's crazy, man. I mean, it is. That's the frustrating part. And these fans that are like, oh, I'm glad we didn't make that trade. Look, guess what? You're getting Obi for 35 minutes. I mean, Randall for 35 minutes. You're getting Fournier for 35, and Quickly and Obi are going to rot on the bench. And now we're going to waste another lottery pick from 2-3 years ago with Obi. Because what's going to happen next year? He's going to request a trade because he's going to want minutes, because he's going to want to get paid, and we wasted another lottery pick. Yeah. So this front office, man, I really don't know. I really don't know.
All right.
Give my man some tissue.
Yeah, appreciate the call, Dan. Dan came with some fight. He's tight. He's tight right now. Now, there was a report from the Post, Berman, saying Cam was frustrated with his playing time, wanted to go. Cam debunked that on his birthday, by the way. So Cam was very, very forceful in coming out and saying that he hasn't requested a trade. So Cam Hive, they were on the ledge today. Cam Hive
still live.
Yeah, Cam Hive, you're still alive. you could still dream. Cam Hive could still dream. You know what I'm saying? So that was that. All right, back to the phones, man. Ralph from BK. Ralph, how you feeling? Rapid fire.
Salute, CP. Thanks for taking my call.
How you doing, bro?
I'll be honest, I'm frustrated. You know, being at work and having to see that Donovan Mitchell is traded to Cleveland is very frustrating. I wanted him here, but you know what? I'm going to hope and pray that things work out for us. I'm going to see how the season is and see what we do, because we have way too many picks. And truthfully, I don't know what we're going to do with them. And not knowing is very frustrating. Not knowing what Leon, his plan is, it's very frustrating. But that's being a Knicks fan, right? So
Absolutely.
I'm going to try to stay positive and see how the season goes. I want to see these kids. I want to see RJ grow. I'm hoping Brunson is the point guard of the future. And you know what? I'm also looking to see what OKC does with SGA. Because if we can pick them up, we need to go for it. Stop getting all these draft picks and doing absolutely nothing. Let's make moves, and let's do what we need to do and get back to the playoffs. No more messing around.
All right. Ralph from BK sounding off. Harlem World we go. Jay, what's going on?
What's going on, y'all?
How you feeling?
Not much, man. Like, I'm kind of pissed off. We definitely needed Donovan. I definitely don't like the fact that we're going to have Randall there. He's going to be the clog that messes it all up. Granted, Donovan is not a number one, but he can be a number two. We all know RJ is not a number one nor a number two. He's a bona fide number three. So now you get Donovan there, and now maybe people come. You definitely got to attach a pick to Randall now. You got to get rid of him. Oh, we got to play, and we got these kids, but we know. Be honest with yourselves. Most of our kids are not good enough.
Listen, I try to tell these people all the time, we overrate all our guys, man. Yes, I
This
see.
is
I
what we
see
do
talent in
because
these
we
guys.
are Knicks
I like
fans,
Quick.
granted.
I like Grimes. I like Obi. But we overrate all these guys all the time. Jared Harper, Frank, this guy. Yo, we do this all the time, man. We do it all the time. Let's just be
Because
real.
we watch them all the time, and we want to root for them. But guess what? On the other NBA teams, they're not cracking that 8-man rotation. So let's be serious. Pack them all up, throw them all out. But my last thing is, who do we go to now? Who's the next star to go to? Look at the free agents. None of them are coming for 23 or 24. We're going to talk about SGA. I don't know if he pushes the needle, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And why would OKC want to get rid of him? Why? They was down to keep KD and Russ for years. Let's be serious. Who is the next star to come? We had Donovan at 25. Now we're gonna get what? We're gonna hope to get him at 28. Oh, he's gonna sign with us at 28.
Yeah.
When we could have got him at 25. Who's the next star? That's just who I want y'all to ask. Who's the next star to come?
They trying to tell us there's always a guy, so we'll wait and see, man. Appreciate the call, Jay. I like that call. Rate that call in the chat. 1 being trash, 5 being facts.
CP is tight.
Because Jay's coming with some realism. I'm here all 82. You guys know that. I'm here all 82. I'll be here October 4th in preseason. I'll be here all the way to the end. But as JD said, we got work to do, man. We have work to do. I like all these kids. I'm a Quickly fan. I'm a Grimes fan. I like Obi. I like all these guys. We need more to be legit. And it's not just about, we haven't seen them. We haven't seen them. We're seeing them now. We've seen them now. The team is okay. But they got a long way to go.
I'll say this, CP. The other thing is, with what's transpired this offseason, people that want to now, imagination, SGA, Devin Booker in a few years or whoever, I think SGA is going to be the most talked about next guy.
Yeah.
I think Ainge has set the market for what it will cost. If Ainge is asking you for 3 unprotected and 5 picks and Ogbaji, another lottery pick, what do you think Sam Presti's going to ask?
Right.
Ainge has also set the blueprint, right? If you don't get what you want, and you have leverage, take your time, play it out. If the media says this one team has the most assets, take your time, play it out.
Yeah.
Somebody else will develop. So I'm on board with the kids. I'm on board with the plan. However, I just want Knicks fans to realize that when that time comes again, it's not like for all those that are saying that it is too much, it's going to be too much in the future as well. In other words, when that point comes, if we want SGA, who some Knicks fans believe is even better than Donovan Mitchell, this is going to be the price that is going to cost to get anyone via trade, because Ainge has set that market with the couple moves he's made this offseason. If you want a 25, 26, 27-year-old on a contract with a few more years left, you're looking at, 4 to 5 picks and at least 3 unprotected, until the market resets and something happens, and that's no longer the demands, from the marketplace. So that's something to take into account for the future.
I got a question for you guys. What had to have changed? Obviously, getting Donovan Mitchell would make things a lot easier, but how in this process would you have liked to have seen the Knicks organization go about it? We already saw what it takes to get Donovan Mitchell. Mm-hmm. What would you have liked to see the Knicks do different that could have landed him here a lot sooner?
I mean, honestly, look, my thing is, I agree with Leon. Like, this was too steep for the Knicks in terms of the roster players that Cleveland gave up, the picks in terms of the timing of the picks. I didn't think that would have been a wise move for Leon and me, because we're not there. We're not Cleveland. We're not there yet, right? So it was a steep price. You're trying to get the Lakers involved. And obviously none of that happened. But the thing is that when getting Brunson here, RJ's playing well. Julius still dropped 20 and 9, right? Let's not act like he's a complete bum. He still dropped 20 and 9 last year. But what I'm saying is they're moving farther and farther away from premium lottery area to go get that next stud. I'm not talking about a guy that you got to wait 3, 4 years, 3, 4, 5 years to figure out who he's going to be. I'm talking about the guy that when he drops on the court opening night as a rookie, you know we got something here. Right? We have that sort of with RJ. RJ's been staking that claim. But we're moving farther and farther away from that, but we're also farther and farther away from true contention. That's no man's land. We're in the middle right now. So as JD said, we got work to do. What is the next move? Now you're sitting here with this collection of picks. Where do we go from here?
You gotta move Fournier and Randall because look, and this is not shade to Randall. Yes, he's a good player, but you talk about being that middling team. Get rid of the veterans that make you that middling team. Go completely young. That's what you got to do.
You have to.
That's all you got to do. So that means if you, that's what I'm saying. That's why at the end of that's why I said, like, if you got to move assets, and now we have assets to say, move Randall. If you got assets to move Randall, to move Fournier, you got to do that. You got to do it at this point. You didn't get the guy twice. You didn't get Ivy, who you tried to get, and you didn't get Mitchell. So now you got to move off everybody and say, because at this point, the Knicks construction, it's a lot. It's a play-in team.
And they have the assets, bro. Right? Like, who knows if the protected picks are additional assets, right? They needed second round picks to get rid of the veterans. Maybe you need to protect it first to get rid of a Julius. So I don't think they'll need their own picks, but they have assets to be creative now and make some move. The Lakers are still out there trying to improve their roster. There's still going to be teams. Cleveland came out of nowhere, so. The roster, the front office has work to do to clear up. Like, I'm going to be so disappointed if we're here at training camp and Fournier is the starter in the first practice and we still don't have a plan for Obi. Because then it's like, all right, we didn't trade for Mitchell, but then now we don't have a clear-cut plan for the kids. Like, I understand the whole thing of they're going to play, but we need to maximize their value in the event that we even move them next offseason. And sometimes, not giving them a clear, and it's also a fit. Like, people just want to talk about, there's actually better fits to what you just gave $100 million to in Jalen Brunson and now even RJ. Like, Grimes is a better fit between those two players to me than Fournier because 100%. He's a two-way player. Obi is a better fit to me to the starting lineup than Randall. This is 100%. Not about Obi not having the ability to give you 20 and 9. That's a lot to ask for. But now we're looking at what is the best situation that we can create, the best environment that we can create for the kids that we didn't give up in this trade. And that's what they need to find out here, before the season begins.
Let's go to my guy Mozel, Uptown Harlem World. Mozel, the wine god. What's good?
What's good, family? Shout out to all y'all. I'm just calling in. I'll be rapid fire.
Yeah.
I'm not upset. I'm just more complex because it just seems like this front office or this organization doesn't know what they want to do. I mean, I get it. The price was too high. Fine, because they did give up 5 picks. But what did we collect 11 picks for the next 7 years just to hold on to them? I don't know. I can't believe that we're really, really building around Julius Randle. That is disgusting to me. That's all I just wanted to say. Just seems being great. I'm out of here.
All right, peace. I mean, like we've been saying, man. Yes, they had all of this, but you still had to be smart in terms of being able to build with more, build more down the road. Like I said, Cleveland was able to make that gamble, and Leon said that he couldn't. But the player quality that Cleveland got on top of the picks, I think it was a better deal than where the Knicks could have went. I think that's just the reality. It was a better deal than what the Knicks could afford to give up. So it's unfortunate, but that's where we are. Staying in Harlem World, Hector, what's going on?
You'll get your thumbs up for the only voice of the orange and blue.
Let's go.
CP, the backcourt of JD and Alex.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm going to be honest, CP. I think you're about to sign your first CAA shooting guard because, some of these snobs in the chat are making me laugh, bro. I'm going to be honest with you. Here's the reality of the tale of the tape. Cleveland was in a much better spot than us, and they had much better pieces, let alone the pieces that they dealt in that deal. They were still young, while they had us thinking that we had to give up our building block in RJ, a veteran in Fournier, 3 unprotected first-round picks. But here's the problem that I want Knicks fans to really get through their heads. People keep forgetting the same message that CP had been saying since the KP rebuild started. At some point, these fucking I'm sorry.
It's all right. Family show, but like JD said on the pre-show, man. Family show's out the window today, man.
My bad.
Go ahead, bro.
Out the window.
It's out the window today, man. Go ahead.
At some point, these picks have got to cash in, man. Because all you've assured right now, bro, is that now quickly, Obi, Grimes, who I'm big on, and Cam are all going to be the battery to the back of this team. That they're going to be better than what we expect them to be. And here's another thing. To all you Obi high snobs, for as bad as Julius's play has been in the last 2.5 years, can you assure me that Obi, with his skill set right now, and I know some of you are big on him, developing still, can he score a third of what Randall can do right now? That's all I'm asking. And another thing is, who are we looking at now, bro? I just want to ask Knicks fans out there, who is the next star that perfectly fits on this team that we're looking at, bro? That's why it gets me so frustrated, because it's like, who are we looking at now? Like CP said, be realistic, people. We're not getting people through the door through free agency, and we're not falling into stars through the draft. Leon, you're on the clock. CP, you already know I'm going off. Thank you for taking the call, bro.
Appreciate the call. Hector from Harlem World checking in. He said, can Obi give you that production that Julius can? I mean, I think he could, just in a different way. And we always said that, Obi's production was, largely dependent on who he's playing with. I thought we showed some flash, at the end of last season. Him and IQ were really running and gunning very well. I'd love to see him and Jalen Brunson out there running, see how that would look. Can he continue to space the floor as he did last year when he finished shooting the ball well from 3? Is he a guy that you just dump it down to and say, go get me a bucket? Showed a little bit, but, certainly not on Julius's level. But I think he can contribute in a different way. Those easy cherry picks that he was doing, getting out in transition, those things. I think he just adds a different element.
Yeah, and it's based on that different element that, we think about the fit with everybody else that JD was bringing up, right? If you're going to have someone who's going to be ball dominant, who needs to be ball dominant, like RJ, you're going to have to give him the ball to make sure that he can get to operate in the paint or wherever on the court. Jalen Brunson's going to need the ball in his hand. You're going to have Julius Randle to have the ball in his hand. That's 3 guys. It's 1 ball. That was always the concern when you brought Donovan Mitchell in here, where it's like the fit. That's where it made sense. You put Obi in there. If you have someone like Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson, who's going to be running as backcourt mates, you can use someone like Obi that can leak out, that can cut. RJ can do that too. RJ can play off ball. We saw he can excel off ball second season, right? Yeah. He took on a different role last season towards the end, where he had to be that on ball player, create for everybody else, and we saw that he could do it, not necessarily efficiently. That's where he's got to work on. But when you're thinking about how you create this team, you don't want, for me, I don't want a lot of people that have to rely heavily playing in isolation, which is what Randall's game is, right? We haven't seen Randall really cut off ball. We haven't seen Randall do anything really off ball since his time has been here, which is a little concerning. It's a one-dimensional game. Sure, you can give it to him in the post. That's fine if everybody else can offer something that's off ball, but not everyone that, Jalen Brunson, yes, RJ can a little bit, but are they great off ball? Not really. They still got to work on it. But I think to the other point that everyone's been touching in on, like when it comes down to the kids and everyone asking for playing time, for me, I want to see them play so that they can increase their value. I don't necessarily think they're going to be the next superstar, but in order to get the maximum value out of the kids for a potential trade, you got to have them play. And when you look at what the Cavs offered, yes, you saw Colin Sexton be a starter. You saw Lauri Markkanen be a starter. Agbaji could potentially be like a role player if you start him. Unknown, but high draft stock coming out of this year's draft. We talked to Corey Tulaba about him. He's a winning type of player, a guy who'll do everything to help a team win, right? Whatever you ask of him. I think when you see those three aspects plus the draft picks, it makes sense why the Cavs were able to go get a deal like that, and the Knicks couldn't offer that up. And we also look at the depth of the talent, as a caller just made, is just different. We don't have that depth. We get rid of our depth. Cleveland still has depth. So I think when it just comes down to is just fit, man. It's just seeing how you can just change the shape of this team to make it all work.
I mean, listen, Cleveland's losing has paid off. They got Garland 4th. Mobley was number 4. They got Jared Allen in the James Harden blockbuster.
Okoro.
So, Okoro, I'm not that high on him, but I mean, they still got him, right? He was still a top lottery pick, right? So they have their core established where they could pair off some parts and still be okay.
But how high were those picks, though, CP?
Number 4. Number 4. We're not
saying
there.
12, 13, 14.
We're not saying 12, 13, 14, right? I seen Jay from Florida. Retweeted something with Jaden Ivey and a Rico Hines workout saying, "Oh, Leon dropped the ball on this." I said, "No, Leon couldn't afford him. The number 11 pick wasn't getting you a trade up to 4 or 5, wherever Detroit was, to go get Jaden Ivey." That's just where it is. That's just where it is, man. Let's get back to the phones. So to everybody in the chat once again, let's go to Nick Bolt on the Discord. Nick Bolt, go ahead. What's your comment?
Hey CP, thank you for having me. I've been a fan of Leon ever since he came here. Like the Mook trade the first day, I was like, that's a pretty good deal. I think you might have dropped the ball on this one. I think what happened, in my opinion, I don't think he wanted to pair RJ with Spida, which I disagree on. I think you could argue that they couldn't fit, but you've seen Tatum and Brown, very similar players. They just made it to the finals. I think they didn't want to pair them together, and they wanted to put RJ in that trade, which caused them to put in less picks, which is what they knew Utah wanted. I think he kind of dropped the ball a bit on that, and I think now we kind of dug ourselves in a hole because you got Boston, Brooklyn, Philly, Cleveland, the Bucks, Heat. There is no way we're being better than that this season. And then you got, Toronto, the Hawks, the Bulls. I don't think we're going to be better than them at all. And it's not even like they have good win-now teams. They have a good future, too. I just can't see this. It's just, you have those players, but, to get somewhere, you need better than we. I love Obi, I love Quickly, but, our players are not going to get us there at this point. You need more talent. That's what I feel. Thank you, CP.
Good points. Good points, bro. Appreciate the call, man.
Have a day.
Will you guys feel a lot better about this if opening night Grimes is starting and Obi is starting?
Yeah, I would. I think to me it'd be like an indication that the plan is to play the youth. They probably won't win a lot of games based on the other talent in the league, and so you could just go right down to the bottom. Get some good draft position.
In other words, do you now go with the whole thing of maybe it works with Randall? Is that the position you take now and keep Randall and say, well, we gotta win? You got to think about what Tom Thibodeau's mindset is. I'm pretty sure he wanted this deal to be done for his own sake. Berman was talking about, Tibbs is thinking about his own job as well. I wonder now, does Tibbs have influence on what's next as it pertains to Julius Randle? Does Tibbs has his own motivations to maybe be a reason why Julius has a turnaround season, and maybe he wants to prove that, and maybe he believes, because we all know how Tibbs is with the veterans. Once he's invested in you, he goes down the hill with you, right? He doesn't just automatically flip and just bails on you. He's with you to the end, and Randall has been a player that was with him from the beginning and was part of a successful season. I just wonder what's Tibbs' influence in this whole dynamic, do these next steps. And I think that's gonna be one of the most fascinating things, as we finish off the off season. Well,
he told you when he got here, you can't sit around and wait. When you get opportunities to get a guy, he's trying to get a guy, he's trying to win. So there goes that opportunity. $100 super chat from my guy Jason Calcanis. J Cal in the chat says, we are in great shape, young and strong core, unfair deals, tons of picks and lots of depth. Randall is playing for his life, so he will soar or sit. We are good, fam. Stay the course. All right, so J. Cal staying on the optimistic side. Let's go to the Discord. Ari, go ahead and unmute your mic.
What up, guys? You guys hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, listen, man, I love this. I'm happy. I'm very happy, honestly.
Okay.
You're not going to invest $450 million in Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, R.J. Barrett, and Julius Randle. It leaves you $13 million in cap space to build out your team around that. Why the hell would I invest that much money into 4 players and be a 6 seed? It's just illogical. You say it all the time, CP. Redundant piece, redundant piece. Spida Mitchell and Jalen Brunson are redundant pieces, all right? If it wasn't for Kawhi Leonard being the third, top 5 player in the NBA and Klay Thompson hurting himself, there would never have been an NBA team in history that had 2 undersized 6-foot guards win an NBA championship, especially if they're all ball dominant, especially because they take all of the salary cap.
Brunson's not ball dominant. The both of those guys have been can play on or off ball. I would disagree. And let's see how it does for Cleveland.
But they're not at their. Donovan Mitchell's not at his best without the ball in his hands. Yes, he's talented enough. They're both talented enough where they can play off ball. But if you want to put them in the best position, they need to be on ball. And from a defensive standpoint, it's horrible, the fit, and there's too much money invested in too few guys. And on top of it, the real reason why it's a good thing that it didn't happen is because it's a win now move, and this is just not a win now team. Cleveland has Evan Mobley, they have Darius Garland, they have Jared Allen, they have a lot more people. They're more ready to win than we are, right? And people are acting like we're losing these picks. Give it to January. I guarantee you there's going to be another superstar on the board who's going to want to get traded. And it always happens. Every single year there's another star. At least now we can invest in the young guys, boost their trade value. See what we have on this team. Listen, if R.J. Barrett plays like Jason Tatum and he actually balls out and Obi Toppin turns good, all right, then make a win now move. But you can't make a win now move when it's too early to make a win now move. You didn't even make the play-in last time. So I think Knicks fans just need to relax, man. We don't lose these picks. We could keep building, all right? And now we could actually see what R.J. Barrett and these young guys have because Spida and Julius Randle and Brunson are going to take 60 shots a game. So I think everyone just needs to chill out, man. This is the last thing I'll say is this. The Knicks that we know in the past 20 years, Steve Mills would have made this move and gave up the entire farm for everybody, and we'd be stuck in purgatory, right? If you want something you've never had, you got to do something you've never done. Props to Leon Rose for standing standing strong and not cowering down to the thirsty fan base. It'll be all be okay. We'll either get high in the lottery or we'll make a run. But either way, as long as we have flexibility and we have youth and we have picks, the sky's the limit. So I'm happy today.
Rate that call in the chat. 1 being trash, 5 being facts. Ari on the Discord weighing in. Rate that call 1 through 5. So to everybody in the chat once again. KnicksFanTV Live presented by Manscaped, talking about the Spida Mitchell trade that wasn't. Donovan Mitchell going to the Cleveland Cavaliers in exchange for 3 first-round picks, 2 swaps, Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, and Ochai Agbaji, the recent first-round pick out of Kansas, world champion Kansas Jayhawks. What do you guys think about that? Let me see some more super chats that have come in. I think we had a lot, so let me go ahead and salute to those. Salute to J. Cal, $100 super chat again. Gamba the Bard says, yo, spread love. Fans calling in sounding like they just got dumped at the prom. Hashtag we gonna be all right. Hashtag Gamba. Gamba definitely appreciate it. TNT Neil 17 says, having Mitchell would have been nice, but seeing the price Cleveland paid, it was just too much. Danny has fleeced 2 small market teams looking to take that next step, and Knicks just aren't there yet. Shout out Kaiser Sosa 718, $10 super chat says, we need to go get a 2-way player that is proven and won't cost a ton. I don't know. Those don't grow on trees, man. The Warriors are over the cap and in the penalty. Let's go get Wiggins to lock down Tatum in the finals. Put him next to RJ. Cynthia Wolf, $10 super chat said, I'm glad Leon didn't cave in. Let's see our kids now. We would like to see Cam and Obi get more minutes. Okay. All right, let's take a couple more calls before we wrap up. Let me hear from Will from LI. Will, how you feeling?
What's going on, CP, man? Hey, listen, man. Shout out to the squad, and then shout out to Ari. You're usually my guy, but that call was trash, bro. That call was trash. Let me tell you something, bro.
These Knicks fans are delusional, my fellow Knicks fans. Let me tell you something. You got to put it into perspective. This is what happens when you're not aligned from front office to coaching staff. Do you know what was the Cleveland Cavaliers record in 2018-19 season? They won 19 games, bro. Mm-hmm. We won 17 games. They won 2 more games than us. We're basically at the same exact spot. Why is it in the same amount of time they have a top 4 pick, 2 top 4 picks, Donovan Mitchell, and it looks like their team is going somewhere, bro. It doesn't make sense because we don't want to tank. We don't want to go through the growing pain of building a team through the draft. All those players are at the top of the draft, bro. You're not going to get them at 8. You're not going to get them at 10. You got to get them in the top 5. We did it for 1 year. We got RJ. If you tank correctly, I say it all the time, you don't got to keep doing it every year. And this is it's just frustrating, bro. It's frustrating. I don't know who's the next player. I don't know who's the next player that we're going to go for. It's like we have all these picks. It doesn't make sense, bro. We were in the same exact position. 2 games separated this franchise and that franchise. Look where this franchise is, and look where that franchise is. That's all I gotta say, bro. It was a bad take. Hey, Ari, you're my guy,
okay.
But that was a trash call, bro.
Ooh, all right.
Come on, y'all.
All right.
They dropped the ball. I'm gonna just leave it on that. I'm gonna let that go.
No doubt, might have a future battle of the fans coming up. Okay, let's get to this. Shams on the deal. Shams, NBA insider, talking about breaking this whole thing down. Let's hear it from Shams.
This wasn't something that I think came out of thin air. The Jazz, in their heart of hearts, I think looked at the Knicks as a viable trade partner. They saw their 4 unprotected first-round picks. They had 4 protected picks. They had young players. They had everything necessary to get a deal done, and they did make offers. I'm told in their last offer, they put on the table R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, 2 unprotected first-round picks. But Danny Ainge and the Utah Jazz wanted more. They wanted 1 more unprotected pick. That would have meant 3 unprotected picks. They wanted multiple draft swaps, and they wanted potentially another young player. And the Knicks had a window of time here to get a deal done. They had every opportunity, every chance to try to put forth their offer and step up to the table to bring in Donovan Mitchell. He would have been a really transcendent get for this organization. This is a team that has needed a face of the franchise, an all-star player like Donovan Mitchell, a 25-year-old in his prime from that New York City area. He would have loved to play in New York City, I'm told. That was his top preferred destination. But now he ends up in Cleveland.
There it is. Shams hit it on the head.
You know what's also interesting there is the last offer. You know, IQ was now on the table.
Yeah.
And Berman, about a few minutes, tweeted that per his sources, Grimes was off the table in all New York Knicks offers. And we didn't, if you check Shams' report previously, when we first got the report of the first offer, it also didn't have Grimes in that offer. Woj's report, Woj did say that Grimes was on the table, but now Berman say he wasn't. Whatever the story is, I think Grimes is a player that it's obvious now Leon has a lot of faith in. So when I look at that, I conclude he has to be a starter this season. Okay. You cannot hold on to a specific player for a Donovan Mitchell type player and then have him come off the bench, with Evan Fournier. Like, I'm not buying that. So Leon Rose has work to do. Get these kids, give them the stage, and let's see what they got.
Hey. Did you guys not believe me when I told you about Grimes? Y'all should have taken my word for it from the beginning. We had this conversation.
Gonna start.
We had this conversation.
Yeah.
Grimes ain't going nowhere, man. But no, that it is interesting, man. They put RJ. A lot of people are like RJ was never in the deal. RJ was in the deal. They were ready to trade him.
So Sham said it was RJ, IQ, and was Fournier in that deal?
Well, I think he would have just because of salary, right?
For salary, right? He would have to be in there because of salary, because
IQ
and RJ.
And plus with RJ's extension, you would have had to move Fournier. Because remember, with that poison pill, Knicks would have had to send $10 million outgoing, and then the incoming team has to be able to take in 26. So you would have to been able. I think Fournier would have had to, just from a salary standpoint.
So Sham said it was RJ, IQ. Let's just say Fournier because we know he was for his salary. 2 unprotected picks.
Yeah.
But yet they want another unprotected pick. And did Sham say another young player?
Wow. Look what Cleveland just gave him.
I know.
Sexton, Agbaji, marketing, 5 picks. I mean 3. I mean the swaps, who knows, but 3 unprotected at least.
So then the Knicks just offering another pick wasn't going to do it. They need to throw another young player on top of this. That's all I'm pointing out.
Yeah,
because
crazy.
that's insane. You're then dwindling the entire Knicks team.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Absolutely. And the hope was from I would think from a Leon perspective is that if I'm giving you RJ, I give up less picks. If I'm giving you more picks, I'm only giving you Obi and Quick, Grimes and Quick, Grimes and Obi, something of that nature. So, but he didn't get it. And in typical Knicks fashion, whenever things go bad, they try to smooth things over with the fan base. And so they have put out a press release on RJ Barrett's extension. We are thrilled to announce a well-deserved extension for RJ Barrett, a core piece of our team's foundation, even though we were ready to trade him to Utah several times. At only 22 years old, he was elevated his game each season, solidifying himself as a force on both ends of the court. We believe he will continue to improve because of his passion for the game and dedication to the craft. We want to continue to build our team and culture around players like RJ who possess these values and qualities. And as you see
Twitter
here,
account has been active today.
Oh yeah. The PR machine, they know how to spin it up. And RJ, he's signing his deal. He's got the short braids in, rocking a Puma gear. He's rocking a sponsor. And there it is, man. Just kidding. Welcome home. It's a crazy business, man. It's a crazy business, man.
They ran to Twitter to wish happy birthday to Cam after Berman's report.
Yeah. They don't miss a beat, man. They're all over everything, all over the net. So that's just what it is. All right, let's take a couple more before we head out of here. I see Cynthia on the Discord. Cynthia, I'm going to let you get ready. Who else we got in here? I see Dan from Jersey. I got him on the Discord. Okay, let me get to a couple more. Let me hear from some new people. There's a lot of people on here today. So to everybody in the chat, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. How many people we got? 4,800 on the check-in. Let's go. Hit that like button. KnicksFanTV Live presented by Manscaped. Okay, let's go to TJ from Harlem. TJ, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, CP? JD, what's going on, fellas?
How you doing?
All right. All right. So let me start by saying this, right? I don't want to take a lot. I got a lot that I got to say. First, I'm happy that we didn't do this trade. Okay. CP, you have stated many times that it's about the fit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you put him on this team, if you gut the team, and we don't have a bench anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And you are now paying, like the other caller said, and like how JD had mentioned, now you're paying $480 or whatever the amount was for these players. Then where do you have, outside of being able to, how are you able to sign another player other than having to attach picks
to
get rid of Randall's contract?
Trade. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then trade. So let me start by saying that. Let me go in because it's so much. I got so much in my head. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this question. Now, in no means am I comparing these players, our players, to the Warriors. But let me ask you this question. What was Steph Curry and Klay Thompson's first 3-year stats?
I don't know. We can't look
that up.
You guys know? But I get you. I get what you're saying.
All right.
That they built it slow and steady and ultimately won the championship.
That's where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
CP, I want to make a bet with you real quick.
Okay.
I want to make a bet. I have a catering service.
Okay.
I have a catering service. I will cater you and your team, whatever event that you want, for free.
Okay.
All right. If you take this wage with me.
Let's go.
I still believe in this core. I believe in building within the draft and the players that we have. I believe in the team that we have. So I'm saying that we will be a plus 500 team, and will make the playoffs, will not be in the play-in. We're going to be at least the 8th seed or better.
That's playing.
Okay, and say it again.
That's playing. 8th seed is playing. But are you saying that they would make it regardless?
Yeah, no. I'm saying that we're going to be. We're not going to be the 9th or 10th seed. We're going to be the 8th or better.
Okay, let's make it.
We're going to be the 8th or better seed.
Okay, let's make it. Appreciate the call, man. TJ from Harlem on the check-in. All right, so he wants to stay patient. He wants to call out the Warriors, which is fine. You could call out the Warriors if you want to. You know, that is certainly a success story. Took him 47 years to get there from the last one. Right? I mean, are we going to be realistic? You know, people like to cherry pick the success stories. Took the Warriors 40-something years to get it. Run TMC, the Believe team, Baron Davis, blah, blah, blah. Took them 47 years to get there. You want to point out the Warriors? Fine, point out the Warriors. I can point out the Timberwolves, the Magic, OKC, what they're doing right now, Sacramento Kings. There's no guarantees. I say this all the time. There's no guarantees that if you do it organically and you build through with the kids and just watch them play every year, that it translates to anything. If you do that, one or two of those guys have to establish themselves as the cream of the crop, and then you still have to go out there and get more.
Today's events show you how difficult it is to build a team in the NBA.
Extremely. It's hardest league in sports to build a winner. Been saying that.
I mean, we were hearing the Wizards, and Cavs had some interest, but then remember, it was reported that they were out, and then now, so in other words, what that shows you in the NBA is, even if the Knicks, it was widely reported that the Knicks had the best assets and offer, right? They had the best opportunity, and yet they didn't get the deal done. This just shows you that even when SGA or whoever everyone wants to say will be the next star, just because that star becomes available does not mean that person's going to be a Knick. Because when that opportunity comes, there'll be another team just as equipped as the Knicks that could come out of nowhere and get that star player. Yeah. That's why when I look at history and I look at LeBron's career and I look at, even Kawhi, I always sometimes think that free agency could be the easiest way, because once you sign a player outright, you don't have to give up anything. So it's either free agency or building through the draft. But the problem with building through the draft is it's hard to do it if you're going to be in the middle of the pack. So if you're going to do it through the draft, you kind of have to go OKC's route and hope that you hit on a generational player. If you do it through free agency, you got to hope that you got to align it all correctly. You have to have salary cap at the right year. And that's also difficult to do because that's not a guarantee.
Got to get lucky, man. It's a huge part of it. It's a huge part of it, bro. Wait, you're on mute. You're on mute. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Knicks Fan TV live on Thursday.
Post-game.
Yeah, I'm going delirious. I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready for the season, man. Get ready for the season. All right. Let's take a couple more and tie this thing up. Let's go to Norman Bates. Norman Bates, Uptown Harlem World. Harlem in here heavy today. What's going on?
Yeah. CP, this is a great day, man. I am so glad that Leon didn't fold under pressure. That's one. Mm-hmm. Two, everybody needs to stop crying. Mm-hmm. They need to stop crying. Oh, you would have been better with Donovan. No, Danny Ainge is the fleece master. You saw what he was trying to do. He was trying to fleece us, and good kudos to Leo. I mean to Leon, because he didn't go for it. You know what I'm saying? He did not go for it at all. He did not go for it, and that's a great thing.
I got to clip your call, man. You got to put that fire out, bro. It's an emergency. Mike Rambo from Tampa. Mike, what's going on?
Yo, what's going on, fellas?
How
Good
you feeling?
evening. Hope all is well, man.
Good.
I'm doing great, man. I've been waiting years for this, man, just to talk with y'all and all that.
All right, appreciate
it, man. First, man, Yeah, no, man. I'm gonna try to keep it rapid fire as possible, man. First things first, man. This is not a loss because in order to be a loss, we need to lose something. We didn't lose nothing. We did not lose nothing. We're still in position to do stuff. CP, I feel you. When's the next star coming up? I get that. I feel the pain when you say that. But I'm a strong believer in what's meant for you is meant for you. Donovan Mitchell, as much as I love him, as much of an all-star he is, he wasn't meant for us at this time. But doesn't mean that our time isn't coming. Longevity is the name of Leon Rose's game, and I appreciate that more than anything because he's not worried about his job. He's worried about longevity. He's worried about your grandkids and your kids being Knicks fans and being able to cheer. You know, that's what it is for me. I want my kids to grow up in a winning situation with the Knicks, and I can respect that we have a competent front office right now, man. Respect, man. Respect to you and all that
Appreciate
you do.
it.
My first time calling. I'm excited right now. Can't stop talking, but I'm going to get up out of here because I know you're short on time.
Appreciate
You
it,
take
man.
care.
Rapid fire, complimentary, got his points across, came in passion. Shout out Mike Rambo down in Tampa, man. Call back anytime. I like that call. That was a good call. A good call. All right, let's go to the Discord. Cynthia, what's going on? Oh, Cynthia, not your shining moment, Cynthia. Can't hear you. All right, Cynthia, call in on the phones. Dan from New Jersey. Dan, let's go. Dan, going once? No, Discord not cooperating today. I don't know. Should be all right. I will get Dan out of there. We'll bring in DaBlackProdigy and go back to the phones. Let's go Book from Queens. Book, what's going on?
Hey, CP, as much as it pains me to say this, I fully agree with Ari 100%. It hurts to utter those words all in a row like that, but it's true. We have to stay in the game. And newsflash, Knicks fans, CP, you're 100% right. You need luck. And luck means you draft well. And you can only have the benefits of drafting well if you take some of those draft picks and allow them to raise in value. Panicking off of all of these young guys is a crucial mistake a lot of people make. You don't have to wait till they all-stars. We don't need to be pie in the sky. We love our guys. I get it. But we just need their perceptions to be higher. There's two players I want to highlight before I get off here rapid fire. Jared Allen, perfect example. His perception got to a higher level before his play actually put him to where people are. That made him more valuable than if the Nets traded him earlier when he looked a little more like a Nick Claxton, where people don't value him at all. And the people keep asking, who's the all-star, who's the guy, who's the guy? Look at the timeline of a guy like Jaylen Brown. He's visibly unhappy a lot of the times. As soon as trade talks came out, he perked up. He's a free agent in 2 years? This is the kind of thing down the line. Guys, we are on a 7-year timeline. This is not – we don't have to start panicking till R.J. Barrett is getting closer to the end of this contract and he either is what he's supposed to be or he's not what he's supposed to be. We need Giannis in his 30s before we start chasing all-stars down and emptying the coffers and all that stuff. So asking price was too high. We lost nothing. Desire is the source of all suffering, according to the Buddhists. I'm glad we stayed pat.
Okay. Appreciate the call, man. Appreciate the call. Let's try the Discord again. DaBlackProdigy, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yo, what's good? What's good, everyone?
How you feeling?
Good, CP? How you doing?
Good.
Yo, I don't know what's going on. Everyone is talking about we have a competent front office. I don't see a competent front office. I see people scared to take risks. We collecting all these draft picks for what? We're not doing anything with these draft picks. We're just sitting here with the same team. We added Jalen Brunson. Julius Randle is still here. Obi's still backing him up. This is ridiculous, man. And people sit here and they hyping up people like Miles McBride and Emmanuel Quickly, who's going to shoot 30% in the November, December, and we're going to be in the same place. Somebody can call in and talk about a 7-year plan. We got to wait till Giannis is 30? What? What is going on? Somebody call Leon Rose, like wake him up. He has to answer for this. He was hired. When he was hired, the number one name was Donovan Mitchell. And we let the Cleveland. I'm done, man. I'm done. I'm sorry. I can't take no more. I'm done, man. Done.
The Black Prodigy. Rate that call in the chat, man. 1 through 5. The Black Prodigy. Tight. He's tight. Look, I'm with him. I'm with him in that. Not that, you know, they didn't pull it, because like I said, it was steep. They weren't in Cleveland's position to make the trade. I understand why Leon didn't do it, but I also understand his frustration, and it's just hard to understand a lot of the Knicks fans that are just like, we're okay. I'm not there with that. I'm not there with that we're okay stuff, because like I said, I'm a little bit nervous of being in no man's land. But I understand why they did not pull the trade, because like I said, we weren't in that position that Cleveland is in right now. Cleveland could afford to make that risk. They can afford to take that risk. But based on what Shams is saying, I mean, the Knicks would have to have parted with RJ IQ, another young player, and then 3 unprotected. That's crazy. No, that's crazy. Can't do that. But I wouldn't sit here and say that we're just sitting peachy as well. Not with all the issues and questions we got.
Yeah, I would also say, like, I think the front office is competent. I think they calculate they're trying to be calculative when it comes to risk, right? They don't want to push all their chips in. They're trying to figure out where can we get value on the right deal. Okay, you look at how they got Derrick Rose. Low risk, high reward. He ended up being a key factor first year he came with the team.
Yeah.
You know, you look at Kemba Walker, low risk, high reward. If it worked out, didn't work out, didn't break the bank. Evan Fournier, they're trying to calculate, like, hey, Reggie Bullock, awesome 3-and-D guy, but we need a little bit more playmaking. Let's upgrade there, right? Cam Reddish, hey, we're losing Kevin Knox anyway. Low risk, high reward, didn't have to move that much to go get him. All right, you trade a top 18, 19 protected pick to go get him, and Kevin Knox. I think that this front office has been very cautious with their risk analysis, but at some point, you can't play that game. You have to push in your chest. So I understand the caller's frustration where when are we going to see this front office take that risk? But it hasn't shown itself, because I think when the Knicks will get their team, as you point out, Steve, as we've all been pointing out on the show, it's not the team to start. You're not. There's no reason to move all those assets for what we have. But at some point, they need to do it.
And if you also remember the Cavs have, 2 pieces that you can say are cornerstones to build around.
Right.
Can you say the Knicks have that right now?
Right.
So then making that deal, they're not necessarily concerned about, well, after we make the Donovan Mitchell deal, we're not going to have enough to get the next guy. Well, they're probably looking at building Darius Garland and Evan Mobley to be those 2 other guys with Donovan Mitchell. So they're looking at already, this is their core. Whereas you make that deal with IQ, another young player, and all those picks, then I get it. Like, we can be winning now, but what's next after that? We just depleted the whole arsenal to build that roster and continue to, and just a lot of clunky fits here, even if you make that deal. So it was a tricky situation. I think once you sign Jalen Brunson, this whole thing became a little tricky with the fits now, because
they're in a
Donovan
tough spot,
Mitchell,
man.
You got into a tough spot. So Brock Aller also, I think, is a guy that does have a lot of influence behind the scenes. He's a guy that values draft capital a lot. So I think that also showed. I don't think Leon is the only one running the whole show. Remember, he is a player agent. This is his first go around on this side. That's why he surrounded himself with other, types of executives. So, let's see how this offseason plays out. They have work to do. And I think the Knicks have another move on them.
They're in a tricky spot. There's just there's no way around it. They're in a tricky position, man. Let's see how they navigate this thing. All right, couple more. Let's go to D'Angelo from New York. We're getting mixed reactions. We're getting fairly mixed reactions on the callers. You know, some people are okay with it. Some people outright frustrated, man. D'Angelo,
Hi,
where do you
CP.
stand?
Hi, CP. How you doing, guys?
How you
I
doing?
am livid Knicks fan right now. Shot out of a cannon. We've never spoken before, first time caller. They blew it. Bottom line, they blew it. We've been sitting here waiting, saying, Knicks were first dibs on this whole thing. No, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
As usual, we don't get the big deal to go down. We don't. And I'm livid about it. This guy screwed up again, and, you know, his shelf life is over in my book. They should fire Leon Rose for not doing it. I'm sorry. He screwed it up. They've been calling this guy the Don. Are you kidding me? The Don just got shot today. Okay? Please. It's a disgrace. He screwed it up.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm too afraid to give up the picks. Oh, give me a break. Will you please? Will you please stop it? Give up what? Obi with the slam dunk contest every 5 minutes? Come on, stop. Okay, let's go. Let's make a move. Let's do it. How long I got to wait? The time when I was born was when the last championship was. This is a disgrace. I'm sick of it. I don't want to hear with the rose-colored glasses because now I can't even say rose-colored glasses anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody sharing a peace pipe in the chat. I can't. Sorry. No way.
D'Angelo's going the other way, man.
Screwed it up.
Thanks for the call. Hey, he kept it a buck. He said the Don got whacked. We warned about the overconfidence in this thing. I was always nervous about that. And especially when the RJ thing came out, I just felt like, okay, you know, they're going to come back to the pack now.
Well, that was your first initial reaction when we did when we broke RJ. That was like you were like, oh, no Donovan Mitchell trades while you're reading the Woj report. Everyone said that deal could have been done. Deal could have been done. Sure, but look, I thought it was.
Listen,
based on all the reports, I thought it was in the Knicks. It was in the Knicks court.
You got to listen to what Woj and Leon are connected. When Woj said it puts the Donovan Mitchell trade at jeopardy, he's speaking facts. He's speaking facts. Woj knows.
No 50 burger no more?
I mean, at this point, with the way how the East is looking, curious about 40 wins.
Let me tell you. I'll tell you how we get to 50. The birthday boy, Cam Reddish. Cam has got to come alive.
This is the turn I was not expecting.
We need a shakeup. We need a shakeup, man. And it's got to come from within. It has to come from within. Give this kid a ton of minutes this year. I want to see what he can do. Get my guy Grimes activated. The crown jewel of the Knicks young core.
Got nothing to lose anymore.
We got nothing to lose. We got nothing to lose. Cam Hive, make room. I'm coming over. Keep this kid. Give him some minutes. We got to shake it up. We got to shake it up, man.
Oh, man.
What else could we do?
So you're out of retirement of not joining any more hives. Here it comes. Joining this hive.
First of all, the fact that CP just declared that tells you how emotional he is today. After
CP is down bad. Down bad.
He's scrambling. He's looking.
I need answers. I need answers. Where are we going? But it's like you said, bro. We need extended looks at what we have here. We got no other choice. Yeah. Why block the time with veterans and waste time? We go nowhere. Give these kids the bulk of the minutes.
With 2 picks?
Say that again?
2 second rounders? You move Evan Fournier for 2 second rounders?
I mean, look, I still think we need a shooting. Put him on the bench. Put him on the bench. I still think he can help. We need a shooting. You know, we definitely need a shooting. But we need an extended look at what we have. This is who we are. We have what we have right now.
You see CP at this point with Fournier in his career, and I know what he offers to the team, but the way I look at it is, you didn't make this move. I'm not even I'm not concerned anymore about what Derrick Rose or Fournier can offer to this team, because I think once you bypass this opportunity, then you're on the rebuilding plan.
Got to go back.
And if you're going back to the rebuilding plan, let's just keep going. The way you started the offseason, Nerlens Noel, Alec Burks. Let's just keep going then.
Keep peeling.
Right? Like if
Keep peeling.
like it's no longer about, well, Fournier can give a shooting and with RJ. I'm not even concerned about that anymore because it's just now, to me, I'm just pivoting towards full-fledged young guys. Let's go. Cam, Grimes, Obi, let's just go. Because remember, we have our own picks. So if all things fail, we'll get a pick out of it, right?
Right.
So let's not, go mediocre about it or flip-flop about it. Let's go with a plan. Let's stick to it, and let's go.
I think that's
you're moving Rose. Obviously, Fournier. You're moving Rose. Who else are you moving?
I
And
think
Julius.
I think by training
Julius,
camp,
yep.
between Julius, Rose, and Fournier, 2 of those 3 have to be gone. I'll keep one of them. Well, not random, but I'll keep Rose. I have no problem with keeping like a Rose, but at least 2 of those 3, in my opinion, you have to look to move.
And maybe put one of those picks on Julius, man. They got to peel it back. They got to peel it back.
You still have Phoenix, Charlotte, maybe, the Lakers were reported that they're out. But we'll see. The Cavs were reported out. They came back in for Mitchell. But you still have some teams now. I mean, you look at the Charlotte Hornets. What is Michael Jordan thinking now? You got another team that just got better as well. And are you just going to stand pat the whole offseason? I mean, you would think at some point they want to add to their team. Maybe they would be interested later on into a Julius Randle acquisition. So let's see how Leon maneuvers here to start the season.
No doubt.
So what happens if you're peeling all this back? Because we have a coach that wants to win. You brought this up earlier, CP.
Yeah.
Right? For me, I think, like, if you're peeling it all back, what's the expectation for Tom Thibodeau? It can't be winning. Not with the way the East looks. So then by default, it seems like he's stuck for the entire 5 years,
Yeah.
I actually think it's funny because I think actually he is a good coach for development, even though he hasn't really leaned into it throughout his entire career.
Yeah.
But
that's gonna get you tomatoes in the chat. But go ahead.
I know it is.
They're gonna turn.
Okay.
They're gonna turn on you.
It's okay.
They turned on me to open the show. You next.
It's okay.
The Cam Hive got me some flowers. So go ahead. Go ahead and bury yourself. I'm good. I'm back. I'm back.
Look, man. But what are you gonna do? You can't fire and say, "Hey, well, Tibbs, he couldn't win this season with all the young kids if he peeled it all back."
Yeah,
he's gonna be here for the remainder of his contract. That's just the facts at this point. If that's what you do, you got Tibbs for the remainder of the contract. But you know what? I think when we had these offseason discussions, it was like between Randall and Tibbs, who are you going to keep? If you go peel it back for Randall, I think people could accept Tom Thibodeau being the head coach.
Yeah, no question. It's questions, man. Questions abound. Let me see. They're saying what's Han Solo saying about this? Han and Woj. What's Han saying? Okay, that's an old Han tweet. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Story includes a breakdown. Okay, so Woj has the breakdown. Here we go, Woj. Talk to us. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. Let's make that smaller. All right, here's Woj. Cavs sending marketing, Agbaji, Sexton, plus the picks. 2025, 27, 29, plus 2 pick swaps. The deal transforms the Cavs into Eastern Conference contenders. Okay. All right, let's get to the Knicks. Cleveland general manager Kobe Altman had been in discussions with the Jazz late through last week, but ended talks on Friday when the two teams couldn't reach an agreement. So Begley was right on that. Nevertheless, Altman reached back out to the Utah general manager on Tuesday morning and started talks again. Within 48 hours, they had a deal. New York had the assets package that Utah preferred, and the side seemed to be inching closer to a trade on Sunday night into Monday, but New York balked on including Quentin Grimes into a trade with R.J. Barrett to acquire Mitchell.
See?
Which is, I think, but Woj did have that day when R.J. got extended, right? He said they wanted Grimes, R.J. plus the 5 picks, which was crazy. When guard Emmanuel Quickley was proposed as a replacement for Grimes in the trade, Utah wanted 3 unprotected firsts as part of the package, but New York would only do a third first round pick that included top 5 protections. Those packages would have included 2 second-round picks, 2 pick swaps, and 2 expiring contracts from a third team. New York would have moved out of Fournier and the first-round pick to a third team to spare Utah taking on Fournier's remaining $37 million. Knicks president Leon Rose, running in parallel, did the RJ deal. Added the poison pill to the deal. New York planned to continue pursuing Mitchell, but the Jazz pivoted to Cleveland discussions and never again engaged the Knicks in talks this week. Knicks had made a calculated gamble that they could still get a deal done for Mitchell. Cleveland got it done. So, there that is. I can't blame them.
A lot of confidence in Grimes.
They have confidence, but also that's steep, bro. Grimes, RJ, plus 3, that's steep. That's too rich for my blood. I wouldn't have done
What that also tells me, though, Ainge actually did want a deal with the Knicks and had the Cavs as that backup plan.
Yes.
So it looks like, because for a trade to have taken this long, and then all of a sudden the Cavs just get the trade done in 48 hours. I mean, I think the Cavs framework was always there, and Ainge knew this is the best that they can do. I think Ainge was more interested in the Knicks players along with the draft capital. Because, again, the Knicks picks would have been actually earlier.
Right.
So you would think that it's actually better to take the risk with the Cavs because they're further along and anything can happen than the Knicks. You know, okay, you give the unprotected next year, but the Knicks might even win 50 games next year. So that unprotected is already out the way. Yeah. So I think Ainge was actually very interested in RJ and Grimes. Like he gave Colin Sexton, everybody told me Colin Sexton had no value. Mm-hmm. He's overrated. Mm-hmm. He's a short guard. You know, nobody likes to play with. Well, Ainge just gave him $72 million. Yeah. So I think it came down to Ainge really wanted Grimes. In the end, he wanted RJ. He probably would have given the same extension to RJ, being that he's willing to take an extra year of Lauri marketing and 72 to Colin Sexton, right? So it doesn't look like Fournier was even an issue as far as his 2 years. Mm-hmm. So I think this came down to Ainge really wanted some of these Knicks players and that third unprotected, and at that point, Leon said no. So now you got to play them. If they value them, you got to play them.
Yeah.
So that's what I look forward to.
Al, go ahead, bro.
Nah, I agree with JD. I mean, we got the whole Leon Rose spiel towards the end of the season. We got a lot of draft assets. We got a lot of nice, promising young players. You got to live to those words. So I agree with what JD says. We got to see it now. There's no turning back, like for how you enter the season. All right, you signed RJ, kept Grimes, kept IQ, Obi. You got to play them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you're just going to shelf these guys, what value are they going to create? That's why you see, like, even though Lauri Markkanen has been injury prone, he's played. You know what he looks like when healthy. Okay. Same thing with Colin Sexton. He started, he played. As soon as he got to Cleveland, it's like, we're using Colin Sexton. When Lauri Markkanen went to Chicago, we're using Lauri Markkanen. You got to do the same thing. Yeah. Otherwise, we're not creating assets. We're dwindling their value.
100%. 100%, man. All right, let's take a couple more and then rock. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. 4,000 plus on the check-in emergency live stream, man. KnicksFanTV, #1 show for the fans by the fans. We are hearing caller reactions on the Donovan Mitchell trade, not to the Knicks, but to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And it's been a mixed bag. We got some frustrated callers. We have some callers that are okay with standing pat. So let's hear from a couple more, and then we will put a bow on this thing. Let's go to Big York from the ATL. Big York, how you feeling?
Yo, I'm all right today, man. I'm not mad. I'm with JD on this. The true crime is that we don't know what we have, man. You know, it'd be different if these young kids got some run, and we know exactly what Reddish could do, what Grimes could do, but we still in the dark on that, man. And truth be told, the true problem is, the caller earlier said that we were in the same position as Cleveland, but Cleveland had a plan. We didn't have a plan. Tanking is not so bad when you have a plan, but we tried to play the game 1 foot in the river, 1 foot on the bank.
Yeah.
And this is why we're in this position, man.
Yeah.
We don't know what we have. So I say run with the kids this year and then take another eval. I'm out.
Good call. Good
Fact.
call. Short and to the point, man. Rapid
I
fire.
can't wait till we play the Cavs, man. I can't wait till we play the Hawks. I'm hyped. I'm
Let's
hyped.
go. Let's go.
Let's go, man.
Brandon Douglas, give us some thoughts.
How you doing? I'm gonna just make it real quick, rapid fire as well.
Yeah.
I think we did blew it, but my perspective changed after hearing with the RJ. I think we should keep RJ. I was always high in keeping Grimes as well, but I'm curious to know what would have happened if we would have just throw in those extra picks, like a quickly, Obi, and like maybe 4 picks. And the reason why I say so is because besides out of RJ and Obi, majority of our young talent has came from like late first round, maybe early second round.
Yeah.
And maybe if we develop Mitch more, because Mitch can do more, Mitch Rob can do more than what we use him for if we actually talk about developing. He's one of the kids that I don't think we mention a lot about. Could he develop to another level besides just rim running and rebounding? I think he can probably add more value in the offense, but I would have loved for us to get Donovan, because 2 underguard-sized guards, we did well with Raymond Felton and Jason Kidd. And I think that's the furthest run we ever had. But having Randall
Kidd
off
was like
the court,
6'4".
It's 6'4", but, I mean, we still had 2 point guards who had naturally not ball dominant, like you said, could play off the ball. And Jason Kidd was like at the end of his career, where you look at Donovan, who's given 25 points. He's more explosive. Jalen Brunson can get his buckets, but he also can assist. I think that we should have made that trade, but not in the sense of giving up RJ, Grimes.
No.
Maybe if we could add more picks and maybe 2
Yeah, but the
other
problem,
young players.
the problem is, and appreciate the call. The problem is that we just weren't in the position to pay them that. That's the thing. The more picks we gave up, the less opportunity we would have had to make another trade down the road. This is what they were trying to do. They're trying to build their team into a contender. They didn't have, as JD said, we didn't have the core yet. You had RJ, which is one piece. He might have been going in that trade. But in bringing Donovan Mitchell here, you still would have had to do some more maneuvering to turn yourself into a legit contender. Cleveland already with Garland, Mobley, Allen, and the like already have it. So they weren't losing much except the picks. They could afford to let those picks go. Knicks just weren't. They didn't have the luxury to do that. You know, as the last caller said, they had one, the caller before that said they had 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
And Evan Mobley's going to be
tremendous.
He's going to be nice.
He's going to be an excellent talent, bro.
Yep.
Excellent talent.
I'm pretty sure he's one of the reasons, along with Allen, as that duo, why, you know, even though they're going to face the same defensive questions with the backcourt, but they have more confidence taking that risk when you have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen.
That paint is clogged, man.
So it's going to be interesting.
Yep.
And Mobley's like a dynamic 4, man. Like, you have him out there, he could shoot from the 3.
Yeah.
He could take off the dribble. He could do a lot.
He's like a hybrid.
That's dynamic.
He's like a hybrid, man.
He's a hybrid, man.
He's got face-up game, back-down game. He's nice. Shout out to J. Cal. Another $100 super chat. Says, sending a second hundy so CP can get a bottle of rosé and chill. It's going to be okay, franchise. Listen, man. Listen.
Hey, he told you why he said this, so you got to make sure you go get it.
Listen,
you know, you can come over. We could watch some cam film and get hyped up. So
you guys got to understand something. The average person who watches this team, they have the luxury of taking nights off. They have the luxury of stepping away when this team loses games to go do what they do. I'm here for all 82. I foresee a lot of frustrated nights. I was already there last year. That's where the frustration comes from. I want to see the 50 burger, JD, and plus some. You know what I mean? You want to feel good about that. But there's still some bumps in the road. There's still some growing pains. So that's where my frustration lies. As I said over and over again tonight, I wouldn't have made the deal. It was too steep. I wouldn't have made the deal. But I'm still frustrated that we couldn't get a talent like this. No question. How could we not be? I'm not going to sit here and say we're okay, because there's no signs of that right now. There's still a lot of questions with this team. That's just where I'm at.
And now the coach has pressure.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have looked at that schedule. You know, got to get off to a decent start.
Yeah.
At least we have to show some. If you're gonna play with Randall and Fournier, you better show some.
Oh, if
quick
they're
results.
if they're here, yeah, you got to show some results. If they're not here, I
If
mean,
you have the kids and you're 500 within the next 20 games, that's fine, right? But if you're going with these, vets that are still here, better win some of these, better get off to a good start. So that's why there's some pressure here on the coach.
this is where your front office to the caller 2 times ago where he said they had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I always said like they were hedging their bets. You had to choose what direction. Like as soon as you drafted Obi, you had to know what direction you want to go into. That was a magical season. I get why you bring all of them back, but you also had to make moves last season too. You had to make moves, especially by the deadline. We're all aggravated by the deadline too, where they didn't do anything. So at this point, this is where you got to clean it all up. It's going to stink to see another rebuilding team with a lot of young players. In my opinion, it's slightly better than what we had to do with 2018, 2019 season, right? Watching Emmanuel Mudiay, the tank commander out there, but just got to pivot, man. Got to pivot.
At least we could finally stop talking about Donovan Mitchell.
That too, man.
That's some direction.
That too.
We got some direction for content now, right? Like,
yeah.
We can talk about, maybe some lineups
Rosters,
and things.
lineups.
I mean, it's still not 100%, but at least the big domino effect is finally out the way.
Yeah,
man.
we can stop talking about it, man. We can stop talking about it.
I was exhausted.
Let me let's try Cynthia one more time. Cynthia on the Discord. Are you there? Cynthia going once. All right, Cynthia not there. Okay. We'll take, I see Harrison Dolan, the last person on the Discord, so I'm going to load him up. We'll take one more on the phones and then keep it pushing. Let's go to, let's see, Murphy from Old Bridge. Murphy, what's going on?
Hey, CP, how you doing, buddy?
How you doing?
You do a good job. I've been listening to you from the very beginning.
Yeah.
You're doing a good job.
Mm-hmm.
This is my first time calling
Mhm.
because you set me off as you started the show.
Okay.
Being aggravated by the Knicks not making this trade. But you corrected yourself at the very end, so I'm going to back off on that.
Okay.
There is no playoff team in the NBA that starts 2 6'1" guards that play no defense. So why would we want Donovan Mitchell on this team? Why would we want to give up RJ? Why would we want to give up quickly? Why would we want to give up another guy plus 3 first-round picks? And then do what? What are we going to do? Just to have Donovan Mitchell do what he's been doing in Utah? And not win nothing? This has been the same exact thing like we did with Carmelo. And what did we do? A lot of nothing.
They still made the playoffs 3 years in a row with Carmelo, bro.
But we learned our lesson. 3 years of the playoffs and what? Nothing. That's it. That's it. Watch Carmelo score 30 points a game, and that's supposed to make us happy? We're trying to win a championship. We finally decided to tank and do it the right way. Now we're going to start skipping steps just to get Donovan Mitchell in here?
But they're not tanking, bro. They're not tanking.
They're not tanking now, but we did tank. Well, we did tank originally when we got the RJ pick, when we got Porzingis originally. We were tanking and just letting it do the slow build. We got the players in, let them develop, and let's keep drafting well. We know this administration knows how to draft. Let them draft. You're telling me, you're going to go on record and tell me that you would have been okay with R.J. Barrett being traded off this team?
No, I've said it several times. We're going to trade him? I said it several times, even when the RJ deal was announced, that I wouldn't trade RJ. This is where you guys are getting me confused.
So then what
I
are we
never
complaining
said
about? Stop complaining. Let's keep it moving. Let's leave it alone. We now know for a fact what they wanted is no way we were going to be okay with it. Let's keep it moving.
Bro, let's keep it moving because for the simple fact there's no guarantees that this path works as well. You're one of those guys that say, just keep drafting and keep going. Just keep drafting and keep going. There's no guarantees on that path either, man. Everybody thinks they got the silver bullet to building a championship contender. One guy wants to give me Golden State. I can give you several other teams that have been doing it the right way and still haven't amounted to nothing. The Knicks tanked that 1 year with RJ. They brought Julius in here. They are in no man's land right now. They're not going to be top 5 pick next year or the year after that or the year after that. You're looking at 10 to 14, 12. Maybe you get another Donovan Mitchell in that pack. But most likely you get another role player in the mix. I was never going to do that deal, but it doesn't mean you're not frustrated with the direction of the team. They brought in Brunson. You still got Fournier on here. You still have Randall. You got to peel it back. Like a couple callers ago, they have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Never said I was going to do the deal with RJ. Never said I was going to overpay. But you need talent on this team. Simple and plain. You need talent on this team. And I don't see them going into the draft and getting it. They've been getting nice value with their draft picks. You are right. They got nice value with IQ. Nice value with Grimes. They got that. I get it. But they need a star, man. They need a star. That is what we are trying to get down here. So let's see what happens.
He was heated. I thought
he was tight. Because people get it confused into thinking that I wanted them to do the deal. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just a frustrated Knicks fan with the direction of the team. They won 37 games last year. I watched all 82, man. All 82. Preseason, Summer League. I'm going to Vegas Summer League. All of that. I'm all in. All in. So we'll just see what happens, man.
So the opening day plans, are they still on?
Oh, yeah, we still on. Yeah, we still rocking. We are still rocking and rolling.
Oh, were
man.
you banking on Mitchell?
I mean, it would have been a lot nicer. You know, it would have been a lot nicer, man. But yeah, open tonight, we ready. You know, open tonight, we ready to roll. Knicks taking on Burks, Noel, and the gang in Detroit.
I hope you asked Burks for a signed Detroit Pistons jersey.
We're working on something, man. I reached out to him through back channels. You know, we're working on something, man. We're working on something. I did make inroads with a contact with the Detroit Pistons, so we're working on something. You know, we're working on something. So let's see what that is. But good call. You know, I appreciate the guys' fire. I definitely appreciate the passion. You know, like I say, this is not the channel where everybody should be agreeing. You have one point, I got another point. You make a case, I'll make a case. That's what makes this channel grow. This is why we got 4,000 people on the chat. There's nothing like this. This is #1 show for the fans, by the fans, for a reason. Because everybody's coming in with different perspectives, but they're bringing solid analysis behind it for the most part. They're bringing solid analysis behind it. That's what it's about. Agree to disagree. Agree to disagree. 5,000 people have voted, fellas. Spida to Cleveland, how you feeling? Overwhelming 72% say they good.
Is that a poll record for us?
I think so. You mean in terms of voting numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of votes.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Wow, 54 and 72. We chilling, man. We good.
Yeah.
Everybody good.
Optimistic, man.
I hope opening night after the Memphis, if Julius has 6 turnovers, I hope we still chilling too.
Yeah.
Let's hope they peel it back by then.
Yeah. Very, very interesting, man. Very interesting. Okay, let's take one more of their rap. I was trying to get Cynthia in here, but I don't think it's working out. Harrison Dolan, if you're on the Discord, go ahead and unmute your mic. Harrison Dolan going once.
Hey, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Let's go.
All right. What's up, CP, JD, Alex? How you doing, guys?
Good, man. How you feeling?
I'm doing well. I've been wanting to call in for a couple of weeks, actually. First off, I want to give a shout out to Chuck D. I see him in the chat. A lot of people here don't know, but that man's a legend, so it's cool. Y'all are collaborating all the time on stuff. But as far as Knicks, I just want to speak my mind. I got a couple points. I want to talk about Evan Fournier. Like, I think Evan Fournier can't use Twitter without some so-called fans asking him to break his leg. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's classless, man. That's classless. I can't get behind any of that. That's just nonsense.
Absolutely.
And he's the best shooter on the team of a team of construction workers and bricklayers. But nevertheless, go ahead.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, this dude set 2 Knicks records: most points in a Knicks debut, most 3-pointers in a season. You know. And because he's starting and he's not a great defender, people want to like just label him as someone we need off the team. Now, I think we should trade him just because of the way our roster is constructed, but he's not in a position to succeed. You know what I mean? Like, you take Fournier, you put him on the bench on a contender, he's going to be a fan favorite because he's a microwave scorer. And I feel kind of the same way about Randall in that he's not in the position to succeed. But I would trade both of those guys before the season starts, at the very latest by the trade deadline. And people talk about like winning a championship if it's like something you do overnight, you know, but 30 teams in the NBA, only one team could win it every year.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's definitely not easy. And people always want to label players like, you know, RJ can't be a number one on a championship team. Like, these guys are question marks. Our team is full of question marks. I don't think it's out of the picture to see long-term, maybe one or two of these guys could become like all-star, perennial all-star type of players. But that's basically how I'm feeling. Oh, before I go, I want to address Hector from Harlem.
Okay.
No disrespect, but he asked, can Obi right now give you a third of what Randall can in that starting lineup? And honestly, if he shoots how he did the last month from three, I think definitely he's fast. You put him in the starting lineup with Mitch and Brunson, who's going to impact the whole team, is going to be Lob City. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's going to have a third of the turnovers. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. See, I didn't even hear I didn't even hear when he mentioned the third. I just thought, and appreciate the call, I just thought he said, could he duplicate Randall's production? A third? I mean, Randall averaged 20 and 9. A third of that for Obi is what? 6 and 3? That's what he does right now. That's what he's doing right now off the bench. So, I mean, as a starter, like I said, you know, he would bring a different dynamic to this team. You want to see more from him. We just hard to say right now, based on the current construction of the team, man. You know. So
CP, whose team is this now?
Oh, it's RJ's team. Yeah, this is RJ's team.
I think we learned that today for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that now, you know, you start to think about how you're going to maximize this roster, these players, and RJ. You've just invested $100 million in him. He's 22 years old. And no Donovan means that now Tom Thibodeau has to think about what's the best way, what's the best offensive play call and playbook to take advantage of some of these players.
Got to get some more shooting in here.
No more corner RJ.
No more corner RJ, man. Great show, fellas. Definitely great show, man. To everybody in the chat, definitely appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let me salute the super chats that have come in. Great show, 1,500 likes. Let's get up to 2,000 likes, man. Hit that like button right now. Hit that share button and share this video. Thought it was a constructive dialogue. We broke this thing down, gave our reactions, brawled out a little bit. That's how we do on Knicks Fan TV's great show. Jamal Reed sent out super chat says, I think the main focus should be to trade Fournier. Once he's gone, Cam can be in the starting lineup. Surprise, surprise. Cam has a career year, and we extend him next year as well. We good. Mr. Knicks 101 says Leon Rose, lost both Jaden Ivey and Donovan Mitchell in the same year. Fire Leon. Kenny Scott says, love him, but this was Melo 2.0. No deal, man. We never got out the second round with him. Play the kids, play Cam, and with RJ, y'all mad. Blame Minnesota and ATL. Adele Chapman says, seems like Cleveland needs a power forward. Michael Parker says, I knew the rumors that the Cavs pulled out of the Mitchell deal was all cap orchestrated by Ainge. Eddie Marr, Leon's next focus should be to move Randall. Payback NYC says LeBron eyeing the Cavs. He might be back. Another thing to look at, huh? Hey, never know. Ask Crisp says the issue now, Utah has more picks to move, get a superstar from under the Knicks. Don't be surprised if whenever we do start talking to trade suitors, Utah steps in to raise our price. Aaron Vasquez, Tom Thibodeau is the original sin. Skydiving Hack says, would you rather start Cam at the 3 or Grimes at the 2? I already said I'd rather start Grimes. Payback NYC is, if we are reevaluating the Cleveland trade, they wanted RJ from us. Why didn't they want Garland? Jazz wanted to make us look stupid. Good thing we didn't do it. NY Sports Guy says Ainge wanted to get as many players from us as possible so that our picks would be good. Ainge is banking on Donovan not being in Cleveland after 2 years. Aaron Vasquez said, should we go after Jaylen Brown? He could shake loose. I don't think he does after the KD stuff bowed out. I don't think so. G. March says, how do you feel about this deal with the Cavs? Disappointed, elated? What is next now? We spent the whole 2 hours on that. So appreciate the super chat. Just hit rewind and you'll hear everything. Pudge Forever says, Mitchell should have requested to go to the Knicks, only he slipped up. Well, I don't think he had a choice. I don't think Ainge would really care, right? Ainge has to do his job. So, and it looks like Spida didn't seem like Spida really wanted to, with KD kind of sullying his reputation and not really caring, with his request. It didn't look like Spida was trying to take that route. Didn't seem like he was really trying to take that route. BX Knicks for Life says Mitchell 17 and 22 in the playoffs, bumped 3 times in the first round. Okay. Dwayne E. South Korea, I believe, says CP, they asked for too much. Sexton is a really good player. So is marketing, plus all those picks. I don't believe RJ was in the trade. We got a deep squad. We will surprise teams this year. We have a user named 12349876 says Knicks fans who want to hold on to this young core got their wish. They have nobody to blame but themselves for another disappointing season. Russell Weed, Will from LI, is off with this comparison. The mistake was running it back after a delusional 4-seed bubble season. That's the difference between us and the Cavs. NY Cat says Shams is a mouthpiece for Utah. Clifton Span, do you think Evan will be traded before the season? Certainly possible. King Katona 14 says Ari says another star will be available, but when that happens, Ari and similar fans will nitpick the same way they did with Spida. Boulevard 73 says we're gonna be all right. Rockness Monster, what about trying to get OG from Toronto? I think we have the assets. I mean, if Ainge was trying to fleece you, what do you think Ujiri's gonna do? Big Rob 1101 says Knicks finally make smart moves and not above emotions. Trust the process. You said that before, CP. We're gonna be all right if Tibbs gets right. Okay. NY King 7. All simps learn how to watch a bad broad walk away. Michael Benavides says, I'm relieved it's over. CP, see you open tonight with Charlie and the boys. Let's all decompress this long weekend. Tibbs better. # play the kids. Eric Nephron says, we don't overrate Julius. Eric Nephron also says, you don't want to be in a foxhole with that last caller. I'm not sure who he's talking about. Okay. Who else? TNT Neil. Oh, Cynthia says, if Cam wants out, it's because he knows Tibbs won't play him. Get rid of Tibbs. TNT Neil 17 says, having Mitchell would have been nice, but seeing the price Cleveland paid was just too much. Danny has fleeced 2 small market teams looking to take that next step. Kaj Sose 718, $10 super chat says, we need to go get a 2-way player that is proven it won't cost a ton. Oh, I read that one already. D People says you have to feature the kids at this point. The front office has told us fans that they're highly valuable by not making this trade. Fat Boy with Kick says, with Mitchell going to the Cavs, does that mean the Cavs can't sign Mobley to a rookie extension? No, I don't think so. Dominican Lou says Trae Young still not a good indictment. Robert Parrish says, now use a pick and move Randall. Got you open to smash that thumbs up button for you boys. Let's ride with what we got. Young Knicks. Sam 21, you have to give to get a lot to get out of poverty. You have to give a lot to get out of poverty. Independent Thinker says, end of the day, we got a nice core, and Danny Ainge only did this because Leon wouldn't let him fleece us. We chilling and we have to move on. Rhyme Animal Chuck D, throw a hashtag PE in the chat, said it was simply a Hollywood cat running head on into a basketball dude. Who else? Mike Rambo got you. Roman 05, you know what we should have drafted Spida in the first place. This franchise can never get it right. Pro Cannon Gaming says Ainge ain't spiteful. He got extra picks he wanted. Shout out to AGW says, I remember a couple people here not named CP said the New York Knicks had all the leverage, which I firmly disagreed. Clearly they did not. Brandon Guest said, by the time Don is a free agent, the timeline will be perfect to allow Johnny Bryan to step in as coach. Yeah, I really think he don't want to come home. Who knows what his intentions will be. Michael Parker again says, the Knicks did the right thing. People are in their feelings. But in time, they will see. The days of fleecing the Knicks are over. You can't give up the entire farm for one bull. Black Yankee 79 says, I'm glad that Leon Rose didn't fold. Danny Ainge was asking for way too much. Haven't we all learned from the Carmelo Anthony trade? Still Maddox says, He says you have no sound, but we got it. Chuck D again says, lesson, you have to give to get. Anything else is hoarding. This should be a fire under Brunson, and no more patience for RJ. He got to turn into Spida like now. Again, Danny ain't playing. It's go time right now from here. Kyle Turner, $20 super chat says, we didn't lose anything. Seems like the terms changed once RJ was off the table. I can't think the circumstances for the Cavs make it more valuable to them than us. I doubt the Knicks are done making moves. Jake Sharp, Australian super chat says, woke up for work today to the news. Terrible. This is why we have picks. When's the next disgruntled star going to want to come to New York? Flavor Phrase says, spite trade. As anyone noted, Garland and Mitchell are both 6'1". As we all know, that's awful roster construction. Oh, we'll see. K. Marco says, bro, we did not lose. Cleveland got fleeced. We good. Brandon Guest says, this is giving me Kawhi to Toronto vibes. You think Don still don't want to come to New York? Relax. I'm sure Leon got the scoop. Don would come anyway in free agency. We'll see what he got. Aaron Vasquez says, for anyone mad, Ainge wanted the equivalent of 3 of either RJ Grimes, OBIQ, and 3 unprotected first-round picks. That's because what the Cavs just gave up. That's basically what the Cavs just gave up. All right, Samir Soriano says, let's go. Donovan Mitchell isn't worth 3 firsts. Remember, Knicks need 2 stars, not 1. There's no point in trading for Donovan Mitchell if you can't acquire anyone after him. Good point. Blood of the Pen says, people got to stop crying and stand up with their weak knees. Cleveland gave up 5 drafts for 3 years to Donovan Mitchell. You think he's re-signing? If they don't win a chip, their window is now. We move. All right, fellas. There it is. And there that is, man. Enjoy the holiday weekend. We'll be back for another episode of Knicks Weekly. So to everybody in the chat once again, remember that the show's presented by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com and a promo code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. Also, remember that these shows are available in audio podcast format, so no reason to miss it. If you missed it in video, you can always catch it on all the major podcast platforms. And once again, man, we will see you guys over the weekend at some point for Knicks Weekly, man. We out of here. Peace.